Yo, what's up guys? Teacher Paul here, and today we are learning a little bit more about Germany. This is a video from the channel Feli from Germany, and it says, is there still a divide between East and West Germany? Let's find out. This video was a request from Susan, and thank you so much, Susan. If you guys want to watch Feli's video without my commentary and without my reaction, the link is in the pinned comments as always, but let's go into this video. Let's dive into it.
It's been over 30 years since the fall of the Berlin Wall and the reunification of East and West Germany. But is Germany really a unified country today?
Let's find out. By the way, I have been to the Berlin Wall.
Hallo, servus, and welcome back to my
in Berlin, and there are a lot of graffiti artists that did a few arts there, which is quite interesting. I think I have footage. I recorded somewhat of a vlog in Germany, but I never edited it. Hi YouTube. Guys, we're live on Twitch. Come join us. I know Germany loves Twitch, so follow me. Come follow me. It reminds me of Abe's Odyssey. Follow me.
YouTube channel. My name is Feli. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I've been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio on and off since 2016.
I see where the accent comes from.
As you guys might know, I had to close down my shop, felifromgermany.com, after the rebranding issues in October. But it's finally back up just in time for Christmas.
Nice.
Some of the products were updated with the new branding, but I also added some brand new products, including a whole kids collection. So if you have kids in your family and still need a Christmas present, maybe your family even has German ancestry, definitely check out the collection. You can get the Servus design for kids, or even an Ozapft is, it's tapped baby bib, that's probably my favorite design, or these t-shirts that say Oma ist die Beste. Don't tell Mama I said that though. I also have a brand new pom-pom beanie for adults. I have socks that say Hallo Servus, and of course some old classics like the German American t-shirt or the keychain bottle openers. Just see for yourself on felifromgermany.com. So this is the fourth video.
Okay. Go check out her shop, go support her, but let's go.
In my Ask a German series. If
you
haven't
German
seen the previous videos, definitely check them out up
history.
Here. So far, I've answered the questions of why we call Germany Deutschland, what the most common stereotypes about Americans are, and which ones of those are wrong in my experience, and what the best, but also most overrated places to visit in Germany are. And today we'll get to a question that was ranked even higher than the one on the best places to visit in the poll. Is there still a divide between East and West Germany? Just like some of the other questions you guys had for me, this is a huge topic, and there's absolutely no way to include everything there is to say about it in just one video. I'll try to let you in on what the common knowledge is among Germans regarding this topic, but if you're interested in all the numbers and background knowledge, there are tons of documentaries, books, and other great resources out there that dive a lot deeper into the topic. So I'll be sure to put some links in the info box for you guys.
Thank you for the follow.
All of you who don't have time to read a whole book right now, but are usually interested in more details than just the summary on the back of the book, I would recommend using Blinkist.
Dang, that is like such a huge intro.
Shout out to them for sponsoring this video. Blinkist is an app, or you can also access the website in your browser,
gosh.
that summarizes non-fiction books, so listen to it. This book by a 25% discount for
that was a 5-minute intro. I'm sorry guys, I normally don't skip, but dang.
For a premium membership. So, after Germany had been divided into two different countries for over 40 years, the Bundesrepublik Deutschland, BRD, Federal Republic of Germany, also referred to as West Germany, and the DDR, Deutsche Demokratische Republik, in English, the German Democratic Republic, GDR, or also referred to as East Germany, the country was finally reunited in the year 1990 after the Berlin Wall had fallen the previous year in 1989. So, the German history of the 20th century wasn't just influenced by two world wars that we were majorly involved in, or going from a monarchy to a democracy to a dictatorship within less than 20 years. It stayed complicated even after the end of World War II, when Germany was divided into 4 occupation zones. A British one, a French one, an American one, and a Russian one.
Gosh. Wait, that's Soviet Union though. Dang, wait a second. I didn't know that.
while the Western occupation zones all became the Federal Republic of Germany in 1949, the country that still exists today. The Russians had a different plan for their zone and founded a socialist state. Some of the main things to know about the GDR, and this is a little simplified, are that they had a one-party system with the governing party being the SED. They didn't have free elections. They had a planned economy instead of a capitalist system with a free market. So people often had to wait 10 years or even longer to get a car, for example, and there was only one model available throughout the whole country, the Trabant. And over time, there were more and more restrictions for the citizens. They were hardly allowed to travel, especially not to Western countries. The Berlin Wall was erected, as well as fences along the border, and the Ministry of State Security, the Stasi, Staatssicherheit, arrested and blackmailed everyone who talked badly about the system or who pursued illegal activities, such as watching West German TV or listening to West German radio, where they would play English-speaking music from the US or the UK, for example, or, of course, smuggling Western items into the country or planning to flee into the West. A lot of people got pressured into becoming spies for the Stasi and had to spy on their own friends and family. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend watching the Oscar-winning movie Das Leben der Anderen, The Lives of Others.
I haven't watched that, but I feel like I've seen something about the radio that was people couldn't listen to that radio station, but in a different movie
that deals with this exact topic. Long story short, for 4 decades, the people in the GDR lived in a completely different world than the people in West Germany. They had different products, different media, very limited freedom, and a lot of them couldn't even trust the people around them. So obviously, it was a big change when the GDR was dissolved and included into West Germany. Since we have a federal system in Germany with different states, Bundesländer, the former GDR region is also often referred to as Neue Bundesländer, the new states. There are 5 of them that were added to the existing 11 states in West Germany. From the beginning.
So wait, Bundes means a compilation, right? So when she's talking about the states, is a compilation of states. Like the Bundesliga means a league of states. Is that it?
There were big efforts to integrate the new states as quickly and as well as possible, which included German citizens paying an additional tax after 1991, the so-called Solidary tax, Solidaritätszuschlag, or colloquially Soli in German. But the real question is, was the integration successful? Are there still noticeable differences between East and West Germany today, over 30 years after the reunification?
That's a good question.
Yes. We've definitely come a long way, and it's not something that's super obvious or that people talk about non-stop, but living in Germany, you'll definitely notice that people still talk about the East or the new states or the former GDR in regards to the economy, politics, and other societal topics.
Okay.
One thing that the new states have been struggling.
So it kind of feels like in Brazil or in India, they still talk about the South and the North. And there's this divide also. It's an unofficial divide that it's more like a rivalry, right?
With is keeping people around. Ever since the reunification, especially young, educated people have moved away to the Western states. It has gotten better now. There are actually more people moving to the East than moving away right now, but the population in those regions is still declining, partly because there aren't a lot of potential parents around, and prognosis say that it'll keep declining more so than in Western Germany. The last time the population was this low in that area was actually in 1905. As a result, you can find actual ghost towns in those regions, and with people consistently moving away for such a long time, it hasn't been a very attractive area for businesses either. Some bigger cities in the new states, such as Leipzig for example, have been growing a lot though, so that's a pretty positive development. Partly going back to what I just said, the fact that people and companies were leaving, the economic situation was pretty rough in the new states right after the reunification. About 80% of the people had to find a new job, for example. And even today, you'll still find a difference in salaries, among other things. In the new states, the average pay is about 20% below the average pay in the West.
Okay.
At the same time, living costs are a little bit lower in the East, but it's not nearly enough to even out in the end. And
I was going to ask that. It's a good thing that she already answered, because if you have lower pay, generally this would mean that the cost of living would have to be lower as well. You know what I'm saying? Feels like that would be the normal progression here.
Another pretty obvious divide between West and East that we've been talking about a lot these past few years in Germany has to do with politics. Especially the support of the far right-wing party AfD, the Alternative for Germany, is significantly higher in those regions compared to the rest of the country. While in the old states, the most votes usually go to the CDU-CSU, the Christian Conservatives, and the SPD, the Social Democrats, followed by the Green Party and the Libertarian Party FDP usually. The AfD usually comes in second place in all of the new states, and during this year's federal election, it even came in first place in 2 of those states, in Saxony and Thuringia. Plus, the left party, Die Linke, is stronger in the east as well. Being a former socialist country, it seems to make sense that the left party would have more support there. The AfD, on the other hand, is basically on the exact opposite side of the political spectrum, and there are different explanations.
See, now, this is where things get a little bit confusing, because you have a lot of different parties, so it's interesting to see, because when you have more options, it feels like every state will have a different thing going on, and that kind of helps to add on to the division of the country, doesn't it?
As to why they find so many supporters in the East. People from there may have been feeling pretty neglected within Germany. They didn't grow up with immigration, especially not from Turkey and Arabic countries, and are therefore less open to immigration, and they also have a lack of trust in democratic institutions. And lining up with this political divide, you'll see a clear difference with other politically motivated topics as well, such as a lower COVID vaccination rate in the new states, for example. Socially, some noteworthy differences are that fewer people in the new states are religious, which goes back to the Communist Party in the GDR promoting state atheism. Most citizens left the church in the GDR. And the rate of working women is higher in the East, the gender pay gap is much smaller, and you can find way more women in leading positions in the East, which goes back to the fact that women were encouraged to work in the GDR and were provided with additional childcare services.
And the president also is currently a woman, right? If it hasn't changed recently, which is interesting, because in the United States we have never had one. Not yet, though.
Last but not least, let's talk about cultural differences. That's a pretty wide realm and really different from person to person, but speaking to people who grew up in the GDR, you might notice that some of them have a different taste in shows, movies, and music, for example, because they grew up with different media. A lot of them speak Russian because they all had to learn Russian in school, and they didn't really learn a lot of English, so the English skills, especially of older people in those regions, might be a little behind those in Western Germany. And some people also miss the good old times of the GDR, and there's a term called Ostalgie, which could be translated with Eastalgia in English. It's a mix of East and nostalgia. It might be hard to understand how you could ever miss a totalitarian system like the GDR, but these people have a shared memory based on a country that doesn't exist anymore. The cars, the way that things...
Talk about the Mandela effect, right? I'm kidding, but that's... Imagine everything changing in such a short span of time.
Looked, the organizations they were members of at the time, none of that exists anymore, so some people miss that. As I said, there is so much more to say,
living in a different country.
I'm sure many of you guys can share personal stories and observations. I would love to read some of that in the comments below. I myself was born after the reunification, and my family has always lived in West Germany, so I can't really share any personal experiences here, but overall, you can say that the divide between old and new states in Germany is definitely a topic that still comes up, but Germany is one unified country today, and if you don't know what you're looking for, you'd probably never even noticed that it used to be 2 different countries. I hope this answers the question for you guys. Make sure to check out the other Ask a German videos as well if you haven't seen those yet. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for free, activate the notification bell, and if you want to, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook and support me on Patreon and buymeacoffee.com. Thank you so much for watching,
Go support
and
her,
I hope
guys.
I'll see you next time. Tschüss!
Okie dokie. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. So it is easy, not easy, sorry. It is possible. It is possible for you to be unified in your differences as well. So it doesn't matter if you still have differences and if you still have things that are a little bit strange to one another, you can still be unified. You can still have unity over there. But I feel like the more time passes, the more people will be united, right? In like she mentioned, because the older people, they remember how it was before the unification, so they will teach their children what they grew up with. The more time passes, there won't be this this divide as it was in the past, unless the children are passing it on to their children as well. So, but it is nice to see the kind of like the things people grew up with going from generation to generation. Do you guys feel like there's a difference? As long as there's no like hostile um discussions, because as I said, even in my own country, the south and the north, they always fight because the north of the country had a lot of people come in from Africa during the slave trade, but the people from the south came in from Europe. So we still have that divide because it is very different in culture. The north have a little bit more of the African culture, and the south have more of the European culture. So I understand this 100%. It's not that it's a divided country, but things and people grew up with different things. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting to see. So she even said that entertainment was different because people didn't grow up learning other languages, like they spoke Russian. And I didn't know it was divided in 4 parts in 4 different languages. Everybody had one part of it. But it's nice that Germany has unified again, and there are so many. There is so much diversity within its countries. Within its country, a lot of different things and different people which you can learn from. With that said, guys, let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for this informative video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to watch reactions to full movie series, concerts, shows, or anything else, go over to Buy Me Coffee or to Patreon. The link is in the pinned comments. I appreciate your support, and I hope you have fun. Click over here for more, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.